How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be giving you guys my final wildcard team for the upcoming game week 10. So you guys might be slightly confused why I'm releasing this video instead of doing a deadline stream, but unfortunately, I can't be there for the deadline stream tonight. Just a reminder there, a little bit of a shout out to the game week deadline. Please don't forget, it's going to be tonight as you guys are watching this video, so please don't miss it as it is a Friday. But because I can't go over my final team in my deadline stream, I decided to create a video and go over the options that I've considered on my wildcard. Now I'll be going over my favorite wildcard draft at the end of the video, but stick around for a few combinations that you guys might be more pleased with. I'll also be giving you guys some combinations if you guys can't afford my wildcard draft, as I know everyone's team value is slightly different. So if my wildcard team is something that you guys might be interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. Now the way I'll be going over my wildcard draft is going to be slightly different. I'll be going over my more essential options, position by position, and then I'll detail the price in the bank at the end of it. Now if that sounds slightly confusing, don't worry, I'll showcase it at the end of my draft, as I do have a different value in the bank for each of them. Now the majority of these players will actually be staying the same, and that's why I said I'll be going over the more essential options first, and then I'll rotate those combinations. Now before you guys actually see my wildcard draft, in the comments down below, drop your latest draft. I don't want my decisions to kind of impact you, but I also want to see what you guys are thinking. So to start off the draft, let's go over our goalkeepers. These haven't really changed much except for my second goalkeeper, as you guys can see, Areola and also Strakosha. Now I decided to go for the 3.9 million goalkeeper instead of going for someone like a Matt Turner. If I had money in the bank though, I would probably upgrade to Matt Turner, as currently he's still the goalkeeper of choice for Nottingham Forest. Now I spoke about the reasoning behind Strakosha. It's not just a kind of value concern, it's the fact that Matt Turner probably loses his place relatively soon, and then if Strakosha wins the spot by the double game week, he might have a double game week 20. Areola on the other hand is simply just a cheap goalkeeper. I believe is the best value for money at this price point, and he's been a mainstay in my wildcard drafts. But now let's go over the defense, and the defense is the most settled out of all the positions. I'm going to start off with Matty Cash, the no-brainer, as at 5.1 million I believe is good value. Now he is actually the most expensive defender of choice in this wildcard draft, so yes, no Kieran Trippier. I decided to go without the Newcastle fullback, as I believe the funds are better used in the midfield department and the forwards. But I'm willing to go to 5.1 for Matty Cash, as he is playing kind of out of position sometimes, and those Villa fixtures look pretty good for the short term. The next option is going to be Gabriel from Arsenal. Now we spoke about those Arsenal defensive stats in yesterday's ultimate guide. Just a great defense overall, and the teams he's facing are susceptible to some set pieces, and Gabriel's the main attacking threat. So Gabriel at 4.7 million, I believe that he should be nailed in that back four, and that's why I'm fine going for the Arsenal defender. Now the next option is a gift to us wildcarders. It's Tsimikas. With Robertson's dislocated shoulder, Tsimikas should be nailed, and I believe he is first choice as that Robertson replacement. Now the Liverpool fixtures are looking pretty decent. He's just had a price rise to 4.5 million, and he's going nowhere in my wildcard draft. Now the next player might be slightly controversial, but yes, it's actually going to be Harry Maguire. Now would I go for Harry Maguire if I had the funds? Probably not. I just prefer Gay from Crystal Palace, as he has the better fixtures. But what I wanted to do here is showcase a centre back, because a lot of you guys have been asking me over my Discord server and on my Twitter page, if you guys can't afford my latest draft, where can you guys make some downgrades? So Gay to Maguire saves you 0.3 million. If you guys just can't afford my wildcard draft, this is the move to go for, as he should be nailed as a centre back with Martinez's injury. But yes, just scored in the kind of Champions League that might be swaying our opinion slightly, but I do think this is a valid downgrade because he should be nailed for United. Now as I said, I do prefer Gay, or if you guys prefer another 4.5, just go for it. If you guys look to the long-term planning, Gay fits in slightly better, as Crystal Palace have better medium-term fixtures. But this back four, whether it be Maguire or Gay, whatever 4.5, is going to rotate quite nicely, and this back four hasn't changed over all my drafts. Now we're going to fast forward to the midfield department, and I'll start off with the main man, Mo Salah, a definite on my wildcard, probably the most essential player in the team. Great fixtures coming up, a Campsy option, and I'll probably give the armband to him in game week 10. Now nothing much more has to be said about Salah because he's a main essential option, so let's go over the next essential option, I believe Bukayo Saka. Out of the Arsenal midfielders, he's the best value for money, even at his more expensive price tag. The stats look better than any of the others, and I do feel like he's going to be on penalties, and hopefully doesn't give too many away. Like with Gabriel, you guys almost have to go for an Arsenal attacker on your wildcard. They have one of the best fixture swings. Now the next option might not have the best fixtures, but I do believe he's as essential. It's Heung-min Son at 9.3 million. Now big debates in yesterday's ultimate guide about should you guys sell Heung-min Son to Saka. I don't believe you should, but on a wildcard, why not go for both? So Son will be in my squad as that kind of out of position midfielder playing as a striker for Spurs. And even though he is quite expensive, I believe he's worth it, and I'm not going to take him out on my wildcard. Now, if you guys really can't afford this draft, yes, you could maybe go for Maddison instead of Son. Some Spurs coverage is going to be good, but you guys definitely want to go for the Son upgrade. Now, the next two options are where we kind of vary in our drafts, but I'm going to be going over the most sensible options, and that's going to be Jared Bowen at the more expensive price tag. Now, 7.3 million might be expensive, but I believe it's good value for the West Ham striker, like Son playing out of position, and West Ham have some great fixtures coming up. Now, this is, however, one of those positions that I might kind of rotate, as yes, he's good value for money, but downgrading him might give me other better options. One of those better options might be upgrading Adingra from Brighton. Now, the 5.0 midfielder is going to be here. Could also be Palmer from Chelsea. I just prefer those Brighton fixtures, and I do like him as a short-term punt. So if you guys do want to go for Palmer, that's 100% fine. I just believe that I could always go for Adingra to Palmer in 4 game weeks time, because the Chelsea fixtures get a lot better from game week 16 onwards. I just want a slice of that Brighton attack because the fixtures definitely look strong, and with all those injuries for Brighton, Adingra might be a good entry. But yes, a massive punt to go for. I wouldn't classify him as an essential option, definitely not. In a perfect world, if you guys had the value, I would rather go for someone like a Gordon in the slot, but I obviously can't afford that. So the midfield 5, I think the first 3 are super nailed, but the last 2 are where the rotation will lie, and I'll showcase some alternatives in the next drafts. Now let's go over our forward department where things get a lot clearer. It's going to be Erling Haaland at 14.0 million. Just a no-brainer in my opinion. I believe the game week to go without Haaland was probably 2 game weeks ago, as you'll definitely want to captain him next week against Bournemouth. Like Salah though, nothing much has to be said, one of the more essential options, and he's going to be on my wildcard draft. The next option, also a no-brainer, it's going to be Ollie Watkins, potentially the 3rd best FPL asset at the current moment, with his fixtures coming up shortly. So this front 2 hasn't changed at all. I think these 2 strikers should definitely be in your wildcard draft, unless you guys are going for a Maverick, no Haaland draft. Now the last 2 options will be our bench options and are quite cheap, and therefore I'm going to bring up the bank as well. It's going to be Charlie Taylor from Burnley and Archer from Sheffield United, and we're left with 0.3 million in the bank. So now you guys can see where I'll find those funds for Gay from Crystal Palace. Maguire to Gay, I have the exact funds for that, so that's what I'll probably go for. But let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think of this draft? Do you guys like the fact that Bowen is here? Do you like the punt on Adingra at 5.0 million, or would you rather prefer Palmer? As I said, the only change I would probably make is going Gay in for Maguire. Now there is an alternative, and I mentioned this over my Twitter page yesterday, but if I do choose to downgrade Bowen, I could actually upgrade the Brighton midfielder. So the 2 players I could therefore go for would be Gordon at 5.6 and also Matoma at 6.5, and therefore I'm left with 0.5 in the bank. So I guess what this comes down to is, would you guys rather prefer Bowen and Adingra or Gordon and Matoma? I think the latter attracts me slightly better. But as I said, in the comments down below, which draft do you guys prefer? To be honest, I think this is my favorite draft at the moment. So yes, if you guys are going to kind of switch off your computers or your cell phones from now to the deadline, this draft is probably the one I'll select, as I just believe it's got the best balance. Now another upgrade I probably would do would be Maguire to Gay yet again, and then I might go for Turner instead of Strakosha if I do believe he'll get some more games. Now the last draft I want to go over is if you guys do prefer a 3-4-3, and therefore my favorite striker is going to be Alvarez. So if you guys do go for Alvarez, I would downgrade someone like a Matoma. You guys can still afford Gordon in the midfield department, but now you guys get the Argentinian up front. Now with Nakamba at 4.4, he's simply kind of one of the cheapest options. You guys can use some funds to upgrade him, but Maguire allows us to do this draft, and that's why I actually like this one, to be honest. So what this draft kind of comes down to is, do you guys think that Alvarez or Bowen are a better option? I guess you guys can also compare him to Matoma if you feel like it, but I believe Bowen at his price point, and because we could afford him, is probably the best alternative. Now in this draft, also like the fact that we can afford Anthony Gordon. Maguire allows us to do that, and obviously we don't have enough funds to upgrade him to Gay. But this draft is almost like an outside punt. I think this draft looks pretty strong. If you guys like Alvarez, 100%, but I think I prefer the 5 in midfield. But as mentioned early on, in the comments down below, drop your latest wildcard drafts. Maybe your draft is better than mine. Now the last talking point I want to go over, as mentioned, there's 3 drafts I just showed you guys on screen. All 3 are potential drafts for myself. I do prefer one of them, but I want to see what your guys' preference is. So the first draft was going to be Bowen and Adingra. Now I'm only going to mention the differences because the majority of players stayed the same. Then obviously the second draft was Matoma and Anthony Gordon. Now the last draft I just showed you was going to be Alvarez in the forward department and also Anthony Gordon. Now yes, we included Nakamba in the last draft, but these were kind of the main options in our starting 11. So I think you guys can see quite nicely the comparison. So in the comments down below, vote what draft you guys think is the best. Is it 1 with Bowen, 2 with Matoma and Gordon, or 3, do you think Alvarez is actually better than any of these midfielders? Really interested to see what you guys choose, and I'll be looking at the votes before the deadline. and I'll be announcing my wildcard draft to you legend members over on Discord, and I'll probably also announce it over on my Twitter page. So make sure that you guys are following me over there and hopefully no deadline concerns, but I'll try to be active before the deadline. So this is basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Let's hope the wildcard is an absolute banger and you guys all get green arrows, and then I'll see you guys for Game Week 11. But I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.